Have you ever started reading an informational text about some place or someone that you'd heard about, but when you finished reading the first few pages, you couldn't remember what you had read? I've had that happen before. An informational text has a lot of facts and details to remember, but I have found a strategy that I believe will help you when you want to talk about what you have read in an informational text. So let's go ahead and get started here. The strategy that we're going to practice today is called read, cover, remember, retell. And the strategy is good for summarizing and determining what is important in an informational text. Step one is to read only as much as your hand can cover. Step two is to cover the words that you just read with your hand. Step three is remember what you have just read. And it's okay to take another look. Ask yourself questions like, what did I learn? What is important? And what key words or ideas should I remember? And step four is to retell. Retell what you just read inside your head, or to a partner, or maybe to an adult that's nearby. This strategy can help you to remember or retell what you read. Step one, as we remember, was to read as much as you think that your hand will cover. Step two is to cover what you have read with your hand. Step three is to remember, think about what was important, what you read. And step four, retell, either thinking about in your head or talking to a partner or telling an adult who's nearby. All right, I'm going to model and show you how to use this strategy. We're going to start with the Harlem Globetrotters as one of the passages that we'll read today. I'm going to read it and demonstrate how you do use this strategy. Have you ever heard of the Harlem Globetrotters? They are a famous basketball team. They are known for their amazing tricks and skills. Many of the NBA's first African-American players were on this team. Okay, I've read a short part. I'm going to cover it with my hand now. And step three was to remember. All right, so I'm going to think about what I've read. All right, let's see. The Harlem Globetrotters is a famous basketball team. And many of the first African-American basketball players were on this team. All right, so I'm going to read another section. All right, the team was created in 1926. They played their first game on January 7th, 1927. Later, the team began adding fun tricks to their games. People loved watching them play. Today, they have played and performed in over 100 countries around the world. Okay, that's my next section. I'm going to cover it with my hand. All right, step three, got to think about, okay, what did I read? What's important? They played their first game in 1927. People like to watch them play and do tricks. And they have played over 100 games or in 100 countries. And all right, going on to the next section. The Harlem Globetrotters are also known for doing good deeds. The teams visit many schools during the year, and they play fun games with students. They share important messages like stop bullying too. Okay, I've read. I'm going to cover with my hand. All right, and think about what I've read. The Harlem Globetrotters are known for their good deeds. They visit a lot of schools and share important messages like stop bullying. Okay, so I have practice this strategy. I've done the 4 steps. As you're doing this, you might want to write down as you remember, and this would be a good way to get some notes for a summary. All right, I'm going to practice with you this time. We'll do it together. I have another passage, a ball and a basket. Oh, another one about basketball. Great. Okay, and we're going to begin. All right, these have shorter paragraphs, so I think I could probably read 2 and then cover and remember. So let's start at the top as we're reading together. It was December in 1891. A man named James Naismith, well, that would be good to say his name again, that was a little bit hard. James Naismith had a problem to solve. He was a gym teacher in a school in Massachusetts. He was trying to figure out how to keep his students fit during the long winter. He knew he had to find a game to keep his students active, and he knew it had to be played indoors. He did not want the game to be too rough, and people had to be able to play it in a walled-in gym. Okay, I read enough. I think I can cover. There we go. And all right, now we have to try and remember. So think about it for just a minute. What's important? All right, we have to know who it was. Yes, James Naismith, good. And he was a gym teacher. Let's see. He needed some kind of a game that would keep his students active, and it had to be played during the winter when it was cold outside, so he had to think of something for inside. All right, the next section, let's start and read there at the bottom under the hand. James thought about some ideas. He threw some ideas out. Finally, he had thought of a solution. He wrote down a set of rules. Then he took a basket meant to hold peaches. He nailed it to a track 10 feet high. His students would try to throw a ball into the basket. They used a soccer ball. When someone got the ball in a basket, they won a point for their team. But the peach basket had a bottom, so someone had to poke the ball out of the basket every time that happened. Okay, that's enough to cover, and I'll cover it with my hand. All right, we're thinking about what we just read. Okay, he wrote down some rules for a game that he thought of. He nailed a peach basket to the wall. Let's see, we're 10 feet off the floor. Good, you remembered. The students threw it wasn't basketball, soccer ball into the basket for points for their team, and someone had to poke it out of the basket. Why? Oh yeah, because it still had the bottom in it. Okay. Going on, we'll read the last paragraph here. This was how the sport of basketball was invented. Over time, new rules were added. The ball changed from a soccer ball to a brown ball. Eventually, it became an orange rubber ball. The basket became a net. The courts where the game was played got bigger. And today, basketball is a popular sport in the US and in places around the world. Okay, we'll cover it. All right, what do you remember now? Let's see. Oh yes, it became the sport of basketball, this game. And a new ball was made. It was orange eventually. Some of the rules have changed over time. And what did they say? Oh yes, they said the court was bigger. And yes, now the basket is a net. Okay. All right, to recap what we did today, we have a strategy that can help us remember and retell what we have read in informational text. We have 4 steps that we do. Step 1 is to read, just enough that we can cover with our hand. Number 2, we're going to cover what we read. Number 3, we're going to think about and remember what we've read. And number 4, we're going to retell either to ourselves or to a partner or to an adult. Okay, I hope this will help you as you do read informational text, and I'll see you next time.